So, time management is a difficult uh, task. It's a hard thing to do. Um, I know I sometimes still struggle with managing my time. That's partly because I don't always like to have like a set routine for my day. But today I just wanted to share a little bit about what kind of works for me to manage my time effectively. And I'll be upfront. I mean, it is it requires some discipline first and foremost. Like, to manage your time does require some discipline. And so I've said in some of my excuse me, I've said in some of my previous videos that sometimes I'm still trying to work on my discipline myself. So there are going to be days when I'm not managing my time effectively. Like, I'll just be completely honest with you. So this is advice coming from somebody who is actively working towards pursuing a time management and more efficient time management. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like this is coming from somebody who has it all figured out. And, if I make a day in my life video, it's perfectly optimized with everything in its proper place and everything's just amazing and perfect, right? I'm not going to say that because it's not true. With that being said, though, I think that I do have some pretty good advice when it comes to managing your time for one simple fact. So, I want to sketch out, so basically the principle that I want to talk about is time management through subtraction rather than through addition. And I'll illustrate that with a quick little story. So imagine that you've got several tasks that you have to complete throughout the day, right? You want to work out, you need some time for your homework. Let's say you have a job, you're working at a job, and you have to go to class, right? So obviously, going to class, having a job, those are kind of set times already, right? You're scheduled in today or you're not scheduled in today. You have class in the morning or you don't have class in the morning, right? Those are kind of things that you can't necessarily decide on your own to do or not do, right? I mean, I guess technically you could call in sick, but it's not one of those things where you just kind of, oh, okay, I'll go to class now instead of earlier. Like, you kind of either have to go at 10 or you don't, right? Or whenever the time your class is. And so you've got these things that you have to do in the day, and then you also have things that you have to do, but they're not really scheduled, so you have to work them in yourself, right? And so you have the schedule and it's really not working super well. You've been doing this for a couple of weeks and it's not clicking. You're like, man, I just keep putting off the homework. I'm not getting the homework done. For whatever reason, whether you're procrastinating or you're just too busy with whatever else. So you decide that, okay, I'm going to watch a time management video and it's telling me, okay, wake up first thing in the morning, and then you have like a 10 minutes of reflection so that you can plan your day. Okay, cool. I'll put that in. And then after that, I'll go for a run, right? That's great. Cool. Gets your exercise in. Then you also want to lift weights later on. So you say, okay, I'll add a run in, and then I'll have 10 minutes of just a break of reflecting in the sunlight or whatever, and all this thing. Like, great things. But then you end up saying, okay, well, I also want time to play video games. I also want to read. Let me also, okay, I have to read a book. I have to read a book a day, or, I have to read a chapter a day. I'm trying to, self-improvement and all this. And the fact is, all these things can be great, but you need to kind of decide what are the things that are important to you right now, right? So if your goal is, okay, I want to be able to work out today, I want to be able to finish my homework, I want to be able to record a video, right? Well, then I can't also say, okay, but I also want to read a book or, read a chapter in a book. I want to go to a networking event. I want to do this. I want to do that. Like, part of time management is about prioritization. You just have to decide which of the things you want to do today. And that's the beauty of taking a little bit of a more bird's eye view. You can plan an entire week. Like, don't think of time management as more of a day-to-day thing. Think about it as more like a weekly thing or even a monthly thing, where instead of saying like, okay, I've got to fit all this stuff into today, try to think about it more as, okay, I've got a week. let me see, like, I want to be able to do all these things this week. So let me plan it out so that, okay, Monday, I spend some time doing homework, I do some weightlifting, I record, maybe let's say if I know that the rest of my week's going to be busy, maybe I say I'll record 2 videos on Monday so that I have a video to post on Tuesday and I don't have to spend time recording one, right? And then you say, okay, Tuesday I'll go to a networking thing and I'll read a chapter of a book, right? So it kind of just, I'm not saying that you can't have a full day, but I think it's dangerous to try to add even more in when the thing is it's about taking things that you don't need away, right? So again, because we think, like, at least I've done this, where I'll watch one of these videos about self-improvement and the guy's talking about, like, oh, I wake up at 7 and I do a cold shower and then I go for a run and then I have another cold shower or whatever, and then I do 10 minutes of fasted cardio after my run, or like all these things. And it's like, that's great if it works for you, but you shouldn't be trying to implement all of these things at once. And especially if you have a specific task, like you're trying to build a business, you have to understand that, okay, certain things are gonna not be able to be done. And so you should just kind of not worry about them, really. Like, I would encourage you to just take some time and just think about, okay, what are the tasks that I absolutely, really, truly want to get done, right? And obviously, like, there's things like homework where it's like, I don't really want to get that done. So, is it important enough to do on that day? That's a question you should ask yourself, right? Does it really matter to you substantially to do homework on Monday? Maybe not, right? If it's due the next Sunday, maybe you can put it off a little bit, right? But so time management is, to me, a lot about planning and a lot about prioritization. And again, it's a lot about just subtraction, right? Like, understand that if you want to manage your time, you don't need to put more things on your plate, right? You don't need to say, okay, in order to manage my time effectively, I have to get an app on my phone and I have to start journaling and I have to start planning my day more. Like, I think you should plan, have some idea of what you want to do that day. But then also just, like, okay, take a look at your day, how you're structuring your day right now. You go to class, you go to work, you go to the gym, and then you go back home and you sit on your couch and you play video games, and then you go to bed. And it's like, well, okay, of those 5 things, roughly, obviously going to class, going to work, those are probably going to stay pretty steady. You can't really change those. So try to plan maybe days when you don't have work. You can fill those in with other things. But if even those days are like, well, no, but I want to spend some time for leisure, well, okay, now you got to look and say, okay, what else can I move, right? Can I get up a little earlier? Can I remove something, right? Obviously, the spending time on the couch playing video games, I totally get it. I get wanting to take a break, but sometimes you just have to remove that for a bit and put in one of the things that needs to get done, right? So a lot about, again, time management is a lot about just disciplining yourself and prioritizing and just saying, like, okay, what needs to get done today, right? And understanding also that it doesn't all need to get done today, right? And if you let yourself wait until the very last second to get it all done today, you kind of screwed up time management before that. So try to avoid getting in a situation where you are putting it all on one day, right? And that's why I say something that's helpful for me is keep more of a bird's eye view, right? Like something more of like a weekly view of the week where you can kind of plan your entire week out rather than plan it day by day. And I'm not the kind of guy who does have like a super solid, rigid plan for my entire week. I don't do that. I'm not telling you to do that either. Just kind of have a general idea of like, okay, I want to be able to record videos right now I actually have a little bit of freedom to be able to record at least at some point, pretty much every day. But if I know for a fact that I'm like, okay, tomorrow is going to be really busy, let me just record a second video today, right? Either that or I just say, okay, I'll just record it late at night. I do that sometimes. If you pay real close attention to like when the videos are posted, every once in a while I'll post a video at like 12:30 in the morning. Like I'll have a busy day, and so then I'm just like, before I go to bed I just record a video. There's actually a couple, it's funny, a couple of some of my more recent videos, I'm actually like, it's dark in my room and you can tell like halfway through the video I start blinking real sleepy, because that's just, so, and that's honestly, again, like me personally, I'm not the greatest at time management as of right now. Like sometimes that'll happen where I'm like, shoot, they got away from me and now it's 12:30 in the night and I still have to make a video, so I just make the video then, right? But that's a concept that has kind of helped me, is that it's subtraction, not addition thing, right? Like if your goal, you want to set out with a specific goal in mind, right? I want to build a business, and take away things that take away from that goal, right? My goal is to build a large YouTube channel, and build a community of people that I can strive with and improve myself with, right? Those are some of my goals. So is sitting in my room alone playing video games advancing that goal? No. Should I do it? Probably not then, right? And that's kind of where the discipline comes in, of saying like, okay, you kind of just have to prioritize, like, what is important to you. If leisure time is important, that's great. I mean, I understand that. I love playing video games. I'm not saying I remove all the video games all the time, right? I did do a no video game series for 30 days. I didn't play any video games. I was noticeably more productive. Low key, I'm kind of thinking of doing that again, because anytime when my PlayStation's just sitting right there, like my controller's sitting right here on my desk. So low key, I'm kind of thinking I might want to put it away again for a little bit again, because I was like noticeably more productive, and I should probably do that again. But that's just kind of what it's about. Like, I feel like time management doesn't have to be like a super rigid, like, use this calendar app and have it in blocks. Like, I mean, some people that find that really helpful. And honestly, I've never really given that a solid shot. But just personally, I know myself, I'm personally just not, I'm very much of like a free form kind of person. I'm like, if I have time right now, I'm doing it right now, and cause I live, I still live with my dad, and my grandmother's here too. And so usually I'll record, like, you'll notice I record videos a lot in my car. It's because I don't like to be in the house, like because right now my dad's on a run, my grandma's out, like nobody's in the house right now. So I'm free to record this right now in the house. And that's why I record it like at 12:30 in the night. Everybody else is asleep, right? That's why typically I'm in my car, is just because that's where I'm alone, and I'm free to just record. I don't have to worry about noise or anything like that. So, but I'm more free form like that, where it's like, okay, I don't have a specific, like, okay, specifically at this time. I have an idea, right? Because usually it's right after class. Like, I go to class and then I record a video immediately. Like, right as soon as I get out of class, I go to my car and I plug in my microphone and I record something. That's usually how I roll with it. So it's not necessarily like a complete, like, oh, I'll record a video at some point in the day. Like, it's not that vague. I have a decent idea, but it's not so rigid that I say, because, there are days where I'm like, okay, I want to get home to go on a run with my dad because he's saying he's real hungry, or he's got something else he's got to do a little later in the day, so I got to get home now. So there's some flexibility there. But yeah, like I said, if that is helpful, I would encourage you to try it. Like, try having like a really solid schedule for the day, but don't think that that's all that there is to time management, because it's not always what it is. And like I said, me personally, I still struggle with the time management aspect. So I'll be honest, I should probably try that myself. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try having like a really solid set schedule. But at least what I know works is the subtraction thing. if you remove the things that are kind of taking things away, right? Like if you remove the things that remove your productivity, you will replace it with productivity, basically. Like, again, if I know that I spend time playing video games and I have a goal that video games is not helping me to achieve, well, then I should remove the video games, right? I shouldn't add something additional to, like it really just depends on what your goal is, I think. And so that's it for the video. Just make sure that you have, I guess I'll put it to try to put it real concise. It's just time management should be about what is your goal? Have a specific goal in mind, and just take a look at your average day and understand what is going on in that day, what's helping you achieve that goal and what's not helping you achieve that goal, right? And also understand, like, certain things are not going to help you achieve your goal, but maybe you should still do them, right? Like going on a run. If you go on a run every day because of self-improvement, like it's also like it's okay to have more than one goal at the same time, right? Because you do have 24 hours and most goals aren't going to require 100% of your time. So, like for me, I have a goal of trying to build a YouTube channel, and I also have a goal of trying to get in really good shape. And I'm doing those both at the same time, right? I'm not spending 24 of my hours making YouTube videos. And I would encourage you also not to do that. That's probably not the smartest move. So, just have a goal in mind and just analyze your day with your goal or goals, and just understand your day a little better, and just say, okay, what is taking away from my day? What is taking away from my goals? And should I leave them in or not, right? And I mean, the answer too could also be, okay, no, it's fine to leave it, right? So it's kind of just understand your priorities, right? Like if you're dissatisfied with your day and you're like, man, I really just feel like that day wasn't super productive, then look back on that day and say, okay, why was this not why was this dissatisfying? Why did I feel like this wasn't a productive day, right? And maybe the answer is, well, shoot, I spent 3 hours on my phone. I spent 2 hours playing video games. Probably could have spent some of that time being more productive. And there's your answer, right? So again, it's about subtraction, not addition. Don't add more things in. Take things out. So that's it for today. Oh, excuse me. That's it for today. If you made it all the way to the end, as always, I appreciate you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace out.